travelling can be something that's really hard to do whether or not you have the energy to do it, because there are so many other factors that come into play. When it comes to public transport, so things like the bus, the tram and the tube, the main thing is you don't have a designated seat. So especially if you have an invisible illness where you don't have a cane or a crutch or any other kind of walking aid, you're expected to give up your seat for someone who is disabled, pregnant or elderly. They're kind of the three main ones, and along with little kids as well. But the main problem is you need that seat, and especially for me, anxiety wise, I wouldn't be able to turn around and say, actually I have an invisible illness, I really need this seat, I'm not just trying to, you know, steal it. So there are two things, these are just two that I know of. This is from Stickman Communications, and it's really small. It kind of looks like just a little bit bigger than a credit card, and there are loads of different ones for different illnesses, and this is kind of just the general one. And I think these cost £2. I'm not too sure about postage and packaging. I have been given permission to print this off, so please do not do what I've done and print it off, because the people that make them, they're getting their income from this, so you'll be breaking the copyright laws by doing it. But this is just to show you guys. All the links for these will be in the description below, so you can attach it to your keys or, you know, your bag, and you can kind of give it to someone as opposed to saying, please can you give me the seat. This is the same thing. I'm not too sure whether you'll be able to see it or not. Just in case you can't, it says, I have an invisible illness. Some days it is hard for me to stand for long periods of time. If I asked you for your seats, would you kindly give it up to allow my body to rest? Thank you. I'm not too sure how much that one costs. So if you have a walking aid, then it's so much easier than if you have a full 100% invisible illness, no way of knowing. When it comes to being in a wheelchair, I'm not too sure about anywhere else, but the buses in the UK, they're supposed to all be wheelchair accessible. There are two different ways that I know of in order to get the wheelchair on the bus. There is one where kind of a square the size of a wheelchair or a pushchair, it gets lowered to curb height and then you wheel yourself on and it rises again. Or the other one, which I think is mainly on older buses, is where it's the same size again and kind of folds out to become a ramp. Now, if you're in a wheelchair, and I've been in this situation myself where my mum's kind of had to just full on shove me up because the guy didn't do the ramp for us, you need to make sure that they do assist you, because that's what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to make your mum struggle to be able to put you on the bus. I wouldn't suggest the bus for if you're in a wheelchair. It's only kind of, you know, if you're desperate you need to get to an appointment, that kind of thing. And again, the subway and the tube, now I've only ever been to London twice and I was only on the tube once, but it really didn't look that wheelchair accessible. And I have seen a post on Tumblr about New York with the subway, whereas only some stations have lifts down. So, you know, you may be travelling somewhere where you can get the lift down, but you may not be able to get the lift down at your where you're from. So you really want to check wheelchair accessibility by going on the website or asking someone that uses it regularly. The last time I was in a train was a long time ago, and I just don't have any reason to use the train. But I would suggest, if you're in a wheelchair, to book assistance, as you may need a boarding ramp. This is just me reading off the website. And you also might have to book a space on the train for the wheelchair. So it's kind of like the bus, but you can book the space because you don't want to turn up and it turns out there's already a wheelchair on the train and you can't travel. If you're kind of using a different walking aid, a crutch, a walker, a cane, you probably won't need to ask for assistance other than lifts or stairs, anything like that. And you know, you get your seats on the train, so that's not a bit of a problem. When it comes to flying, you want to make sure that when you book your ticket, no matter if you've booked it as kind of a holiday deal or whether you've just booked the flight itself, you want to make sure beforehand that they know you need assistance. And even if you've just got a cane, or you do want to ask for assistance anyway, because it's so much easier to ask for assistance, turn up and say, actually, I'm sorry, but I really don't need it at the moment, I'm sorry for wasting time, than to turn up, lie on the floor and go, oh god, I need assistance, and there's no one there to help you. So just definitely book it, and kind of let them know that actually there may be a chance that I don't need it. And especially if you're in a wheelchair, they'll wheel you round the airport, or they should do. And if you're using a cane, they'll help you carry your bags, or they may give you the possibility of that you just hold your cane and they'll put you in one of the airport wheelchairs and they'll wheel you there, because you'll get there a little bit faster. I did see a post a little while ago, and I can't remember who made it, so kind of credit to you if you know who it is, about how they were in a wheelchair and they had airport assistance, and they made them carry their own bags. No, don't make them do that. Turn around and go, no, I cannot do this, you need to do it. And also there was the thing about someone their carry-on luggage was their meds. Now I've travelled a lot with meds. The main thing you want to do is put all of your meds in your hand luggage, because if your suitcase goes missing, especially if you have to pay full price for meds, not insurance, not kind of £8 per item like in the UK, you can't afford to lose them. And if you're going to a foreign country, like not one where, if you're flying to England, that's fine, because they will give you meds when you get here. The NHS will, but if you're flying to somewhere foreign, kind of Turkey, Greece, Egypt, anywhere where the main language isn't English or something like that, you're gonna appear you're not gonna have any meds, and there are a lot of meds that you can't just stop. You have to kind of wean yourself off them. So the last thing you want to do is arrive somewhere and have no meds whatsoever. So even if you're going somewhere for a month, put the month's worth of meds in your hand luggage. Now some airports will not let you just take these meds on if it's in a dosette box. You want to have it in your original packaging, whether it's a box or a bottle. It should have your name on it and the dosage as well. So if you do put them in dosette boxes, so just keep some just in case you're going to be travelling soon. And you may need a letter from your doctor for most airports, because you turn up with a load of drugs, just like, hey, let me on the plane, I've got like one down from morphine here, let's go. I mean, I had a whole bag full of meds, and if I didn't have a letter from my doctor, I wouldn't have been able to take any of them. In the UK, I know that it does cost, if you want your GP to write you a letter, I think it's about £65. If you have a specialist doctor, if you ask them, they will most likely basically just get a list of your meds, write a few lines and then sign it, and it's on hospital paper and they'll accept that. I'm not too sure about other countries how that works. This is mainly for the UK, because I have no idea about any other countries other than America has to pay for everything when it comes to healthcare. Also, this was another post that I saw, and I'm sorry I don't know who it was either, saying that their bag of meds consisted of their whole hand luggage. These are my meds, I need them, and then have another bag which is your normal hand luggage that you'd have kind of books in, stuff to help you keep comfortable on the plane. If you have kind of liquid meds as well, rather than put them in a separate bag, what I did was I got a huge see-through bag that I put my tablets and my liquid meds and my creams in, so it just counts as one huge bag. So that's kind of how you can cheat it if they try and say that you can't have your meds and your hand luggage. If you just say, oh well, there's liquids and creams in there, they have to be separate. Especially if the liquid and the cream meds are over 100 ml, you really do need a letter, otherwise you'll get it taken off you. They will not let you on the plane. When it comes to long journeys, long car journeys, flying, going on the train, especially if you're having to make a huge journey to go to a hospital appointment, you want to make sure you're not doing anything beforehand for like kind of a week, anything after for a week, plus extra time to recover. You want to make sure that whether you're on the plane, the train, whether you're driving somewhere, that you're comfortable, because the last thing you want is a 6-hour journey and you're sat in this really uncomfortable seat. If you're travelling alone, you really want to plan everything out. And obviously there are so many things that you can't plan on happening, you know, traffic, delays, the weather stopping everything, but you want to plan as best as you can. And when I go anywhere, even if it's just to school, in my car I have this box and it's got all emergency meds, so it's got kind of a day's worth of all my meds that I've put in there. I've got my pain patches in there as well. I would have my TENS machine in there, but I lost half of it, so I only have one. I've got one of those heat things that you put in the microwave and it's like yay big, and that's only in there so if I'm at work or at school I can just nip out to my car, stick it in the microwave if the pain's really bad. I've got a tub of cool gel, which is just kind of it's the same thing as putting ice on your body, but it's not as cold, and it's a huge tub and it just helps with pain if heat isn't working. Basically anything that you need that you would need on a regular basis that you can spare or buy an extra one of, so you're not having one in your car, having to take it out, put it back inside. It's definitely something that you should look into. I do need to put a lot more items in there, especially when I'm going on long journeys. The main issue when it comes to travelling with a chronic illness is if you have a blue badge. If you are young, if you look healthy, you know, if you don't look like you're disabled, you're going to get called out for it. The amount of posts I've seen about people leaving notes or being rude, and it honestly, I hate it so much, because you could park in a disabled parking space with no badge and no one will care. It's something that you shouldn't have to deal with, but you probably are going to. And you know, the best way to do it is to just forget it. They think they're trying to be helpful, you know, they think they're trying to free these disabled spaces for people that actually need it, even though you're one of those people. And you kind of just have to let it slide, because it's just ignorance. And they do think that they're helping people, but they just don't understand. It's kind of the, but you're too young to be sick, you're too young to be disabled. And they really are trying to help, but they're just doing it in the worst way possible. And you just can't, you really do, you just have to forget that they left a note. And if they confront you, just walk away, because it will get to the point where they are determined, they've made a scene, people are gathering, they will win this argument. Just walk away, just, you know, just go wherever, in the shop or whatever, and if they are so adamant that, you know, they follow you around, just show them that your place card, that it has your name on it or that it has your picture on it, even though you shouldn't have to. So when I had my blue badge, you could just see the blue badge bit, but if I turned it over I'd just be like, that is my picture on there, I am clearly the person with the blue badge. Just I will make a video about how to go about getting a blue badge, and that'll be one of my later videos. If you have an idea but you don't want to comment below, you can always leave me a message on Tumblr, and that way you can do it anonymously if you want. Say hi, Shadow. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are all as well as possible.